very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. When God spoke his words, they said he was deranged. Marley sung his songs, they said the same. Malcolm X and Martin Luther fought relentlessly so we could be better. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise.
Very carefully.
It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. Bad mind them up to one, hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them get rifle a beat. Everybody want big ups and want to drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she bike in a read. Not even 5 days, you can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet. But keep an eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go late. Them never yet plant and not try figure it. Bigger heads where you fight for the sake. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle we submit. The system will slide where you fit.
Inna the streets so we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest and them want it though. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. Everybody just a pre-success. When me looking at the street, you me see enough stress. Them all a fight for who reach up next. Everybody want floss and a beat up chest. Juvenile in a them teen love sex. Them a breed the fast money, them no need subjects. And if you're unfortunate, please don't vex. Also the things said cause the streets don't rest.
Inna the streets so we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest and them want it though. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. Bad mind them up to one, hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them get rifle a beat. Everybody want big ups and want to drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she bike in a read. Not even 5 wheels, you can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet, but keep a eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go leap. Them never yet plant and not try figure rape. Bigger heads where you fight for the seed. Now cater about the future nor the child when you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle we sonate. The system will slide where you fit.
In the streets where we born and grow, only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah.
Recognize royalty, like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
That's my point. What's the number, right? Public Department of Education, Great Society, Model Cities Program, Black Businesses, Pell Grants, Affirmative Action, DEI. It's not enough. What's the number that's enough?
Once again, just like we said about the civil rights movement, about the education and all that, you can do certain things in the name of doing the right thing, but then you do it wrong. So
what's the number?
I don't know.
They're not going to give a number. They don't really want to give a number. They don't want to give a number because, if they give a number, then that'll kind of make it final. And they don't want it to be final. They don't want reparations to be final. They want it to remain open, where it just goes into perpetuity. They want not just for them, but they want it for their descendants as well, as certainly as their descendants of slaves, and they think they deserve this. They're going to think that their descendants deserve it as well. Because keep in mind, there are mental issues that they claim they've suffered because of it. And so they want to leave it open so that their descendants will still have some form of claim or something. So he's reluctant to give a number. And I think for the most part, they're going to be reluctant to give a number. But it's never going to be enough because, the other stuff that has been offered that Crowder mentioned, BEI, affirmative action, the DOE, the new city, I think is what he called it. All of those things, none of those things are going to be enough. They don't want it to be enough because they don't want their DEI, they don't want their reparations claim to come to an end. So nothing is going to be enough, which is why they either don't want to give a number, or when they do give a number, it's something crazy.
So what's the number? I don't know. I don't personally have an answer to that question.
One moment, just one second. Would you agree that if a young person who has no connection to slavery whatsoever, you probably need a number for them? Otherwise, they're probably going to be pissed.
They didn't need a number for Ukraine.
Sure,
they paid them same taxes. They didn't need a number for how much
you're talking about.
They didn't need a number for Ukraine because Ukraine, whatever money we send to Ukraine is an across the board. It comes from everyone's taxes. This slavery reparations is not across the board. It's only going to come from people who can show that they've benefited from slavery. So this is a special tax just to that 2% of people that can trace their heritage back to their lineage back to slaveholders. So this would be a special type of tax. And so those people would care about the number. And they would have a right to care about that number.
Reparations to a young person, right, in the name of sins of forefathers. My point is, what's the number? Because the number now is trillions of dollars. I get it. The government screws everything up, and I will agree on that. Mm-hmm. What's the number? You're sitting down right now with a 22-year-old white kid.
Give my daughter $15 million and we'll call it.
$15 million?
$15 million a piece, and we'll call it square. That's for me and for them.
$50 million, okay.
And when they do give a number, when they do decide to give a number, it's going to be a ridiculous number, like $15 million. $15 million to each person. It's a ridiculous amount of money that is going to be just not feasible. But they may be given this ridiculous money because they know this ridiculous amount. They're asking for this. If they're forced to give an amount, it's going to be ridiculous because they want it to be a number that you're going to refuse to give them because they prefer to get it in perpetuity. Or it's not just for them. Again, it's not just for them. It's for their descendants as well. And they want it to be consistently coming in. So when they do give a number, it's going to be a ridiculous number. Will they take it if they get it? Absolutely. But do they expect to get it? I don't think so. Because they know it's ridiculous and they're kind of offering it because of its ridiculousness so that they get something that is more consistent, that more resembles, what they get in terms of the other entitlement programs and things of that nature. Because again, they want it to be like not just for them, but for them and their descendants. So either they don't want to make a definitive claim or give a definitive number, or the number they're going to give is going to be something that's just ridiculous. It's as if they prefer something that, because they know you're going to say no to $15 million. Come on. So they'd prefer something that goes into perpetuity. Where they're entitled to land, their kids are entitled to land, something like that, where it just never stops. Because they really don't want their reparations claim to stop.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
It's all about life.
Recognize royalty, gotta recognize it. Recognize royalty, like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty.
Historically, what's the number, right? Public Department of Education, Great Society, Model Cities Program, Black Businesses, Pell Grants, Affirmative Action, DEI. It's not enough. What's the number that's enough?
Once again, just like we said about the civil rights movement, about the education and all that, you can do certain things in the name of doing the right thing, but you do it wrong. So
what's the number?
I don't know.
They're not going to give a number. They don't really want to give a number. They don't want to give a number because, if they give a number, then that'll kind of make it final. And they don't want it to be final. They don't want reparations to be final. They want it to remain open, where it just goes into perpetuity. They want not just for them, but they want it for their descendants as well, as certainly as their descendants of slaves, and they think they deserve this, they're going to think that their descendants deserve it as well. Because keep in mind, there are mental issues that they claim they've suffered because of it. And so they want to leave it open so that their descendants will still have some form of claim or something. So he's reluctant to give a number, and I think for the most part, they're going to be reluctant to give a number. But it's never going to be enough because, the other stuff that has been offered that Crowder mentioned, BEI, affirmative action, the DOE, the new city, I think is what he called it. All of those things, none of those things are gonna be enough. They don't want it to be enough because they don't want their DEI, they don't want their reparations claim to come to an end. So nothing is gonna be enough, which is why they either don't want to give a number, or when they do give a number, it's something crazy.
So
What's the number?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't personally have an answer
hold
to that
on, one
question.
moment, just one second. Would you agree that if a young person who has no connection to slavery whatsoever, you probably need a number for them? Otherwise, they're probably going to be pissed.
They didn't need a number for Ukraine.
Sure,
They paid them same taxes. They didn't need a number for how much
You're
we were
talking
gonna pay.
about.
They didn't need a number for Ukraine because Ukraine, whatever money we send to Ukraine isn't across the board. It comes from everyone's taxes. This slavery reparations is not across the board. It's only going to come from people who can show that they've benefited from slavery. So this is a special tax just to that 2% of people that can trace their heritage back to their lineage back to slaveholders. So this would be a special type of tax. And so those people would care about the number. And they would have a right to care about that number.
Reparations to a young person, right, in the name of sins of forefathers. My point is, what's the number? Because the number now is trillions of dollars. I get it. The government screws everything up, and I will agree on that. What's the number? You're sitting down right now with a 22-year-old white kid.
Give my daughter $15 million and we'll call it.
$15 million?
$15 million apiece and we'll call it square. That's for me and for them.
And $50 million, okay.
$15 million.
And when they do give a number, when they do decide to give a number, it's going to be a ridiculous number, like $15 million. $15 million to each person. It's a ridiculous amount of money that is going to be just not feasible. But they may be given this ridiculous money because they know this ridiculous amount. They're asking for this. If they're forced to give an amount, it's going to be ridiculous because they want it to be a number that you're going to refuse to give them because they prefer to get it in perpetuity. Or it's not just for them. Again, it's not just for them. It's for their descendants as well. And they want it to be consistently coming in. So when they do give a number, it's going to be a ridiculous number. Will they take it if they get it? Absolutely. But do they expect to get it? I don't think so. Because they know it's ridiculous and they're kind of offering it because of its ridiculousness so that they get something that is more consistent, that more resembles, what they get in terms of the other entitlement programs and things of that nature. Because again, they want it to be like not just for them, but for them and their descendants. So either they don't want to make a definitive claim or give a definitive number, or the number they're going to give is going to be something that's just ridiculous. It's as if they prefer something that, because they know you're going to say no to $15 million. Come on. So they'd prefer something that goes into perpetuity. Where they're entitled to land, their kids are entitled to land, something like that, where it just never stops. Because they really don't want their reparations claim to stop. Hey, peace, y'all. What's happening? Holler at me if you heard me. Yeah, we are in the building. It's a nice Friday night. We are in the building. Not sure how long I'm gonna stay around for. Depends on if anyone pops in. I got the link in there. The link is pinned if anyone wants to holler. What do I want to do? Only thing I want to do right now, really, I just want to go through these comments. I just want to read through these comments for this video and hear what people have to say. So first comment, not sure who made this.
Recognize.
Andrew Eisenhower says, they's okay, soaks. When you need wise to help, we not helping. I'm sorry, I killing two men. I don't know what this man trying to say. Not sure what you're saying, Andrew. Andrew came back to say, you's killing too many. Why? Yes. Sorry, I'm an indigent, uneducated. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Bummer. Next comment. A fair act of reparations would be a one-way ticket back to Africa. Yo, that's funny. KIS E1 says a fair act of reparations would be a one-way ticket back to Africa. That's funny, though. That's funny. Look, somebody before him said that. Somebody said a plane ticket to Africa. That's their number, a plane ticket to Africa. That's funny, though. That is type funny. Peace, Luckman. Peace to you. Just going through these comments for this video. Like the video if you don't mind, Luckman. If you don't mind liking, hitting that like button, that would be great. Dario Infini says, I've noticed the same thing. Best thing to shut down talks is to ask, okay, how much to never have to hear you beg for another hand? How much to never have to hear you beg for another handout? Watch the circles spin. That's going to be, you're not going to be able to pay that, Dario. You won't be able to pay them to never hear them again. They're going to make sure you're not able to pay that. Mal 14D20 says maybe no taxes. Maybe a good form of reparations is no taxes. Don't charge anybody any taxes. $5K every 3 months, says Luckman. Luckman says pay them $5,000 every 3 months. College funding, housing, and vouchers. For how long do you say, Luckman? For how long? $5,000 a month, $5,000 every 3 months. For how long? Tell us. Yeah, so while we wait for Luckman to tell us how long he wants $5K every 3 months for, let me just continue reading these comments. MC says the lion cares not of EBT opinions. Whatever that means. Whatever that means, MC. Elusive 1181 says, I have documented proof that I have ancestors who fought for the Union Army and a few never came home. My family paid our reparations in blood to free your ancestors in the first place. Less than 1% of the entire nation owned slaves, and most people thought it was barbaric. It wouldn't be impossible to find the descendants of slave plantation owners. Hang on, I'm going to read that one again. Yeah, that's an interesting comment by Elusive 1181. Quite an interesting comment. Ha! Luckman says till retirement, 5K every 3 months until retirement. You sure you don't want to hit the link, Luckman? I have so many questions for you. You sure you don't want to hit the link? Hit the link so we can talk about it. It seems quite interesting. And that goes for, is that 5K a month per family or 5K a month per individual? What says you? Again, there is a link pinned. So, if you feel like you wanna talk about it, that would be amazing. But $5,000 every 3 months till retirement. $5,000 a month. $5,000 every 3 months works out to about $1,700 a month. So $1,700 a month till for retirement. Now, is that Luckman? Is that, you said your comment is 5K every 3 months, college funding, housing vouchers. Now, is the college funding and housing vouchers separate from the 5K a month every 3 months, or are you saying they can use the 5K to pay for college funding, housing vouchers, or is it 5K plus that stuff? Well, all right. Hey, Luckman. You there, buddy? Can you hear me? You got to unmute yourself, Luckman.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yep, I can hear you now.
All right.
All right. Thanks for coming in, and blessings to you.
Hey, blessings.
Yeah. Am I saying your name right? Is it Luckman?
Lukman.
Lukman. Well, all right. So yeah, $5,000 every 3 months, until retirement. And my first question, I guess, was, is that 5K, is that per family or per individual?
It would per 18-year-old individual.
Right. So anyone in the household that's 18 and over would get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if there's anyone under 18 in the household, do they start getting it once they become 18?
As long as they, yeah, because they will have to be a part of the family, adopted, you know, some
I'm sorry, you said adopted. You
spec-
said something else, but you broke up.
specifications for that, you know. But yeah, 18 and you qualify, blood's all there, paperwork's all there, you know. So
Right.
it's already
So
out of
if
birth.
yeah, so if
It's
I
already out.
have, so if it's me and my wife, and I have an 18-year-old son, and let's say a 2-year-old, me, my wife, and the 18-year-old will start getting our checks now until we all retire. Like I'll get it
Yeah,
until you said up until retirement
yeah.
or up until death.
So, This is all.
Retirement.
This is all. You know, I'm basing this off of Native American birthright reparations. So those who have qualified in um, claiming their lineage to federally recognized Native American tribes, those few tribes get federal funding for lost land, uh, uh, dirty deeds, and mis, appropriation and all that. Currently, so you see casinos, most tribes have a contingency plan with their funds. Hey, let's all throw in and let's start running casinos since the mob is not, in function. So yeah, that's what I'm basing it off of. I'm not really sure the true, you know, uh, get back they're getting, but that's just about around it.
Okay. About how many natives do you think? Because the black population in America um is about a little over 40 million,
Mm.
right? About how much, and I'm, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Native American population is way smaller than that.
Mm.
And I don't know if the entire, I think it's just a portion of the Native American population that receives reparations. I don't think all tribes do.
Definitely.
So I don't know. I think the cost of subsidizing that form of reparations for Native Americans or Native Indian tribes would be a lot less than the cost of having to pay for slave reparations to Black Americans. Um, so is that a concern? Is that something that you think should be a concern, just the cost of it? Like I know that they're giving it to Native Americans, but the cost to give it to Black Americans would be so much more. Do you think that's something that should be taken into consideration, or do you think it's just like, no, it's owed, so just give it to them?
It would have to be subsidized in some way. Someone's and just like you were speaking on those tax, it it's gonna be certain the 2% that's really benefited from this. They're gonna be taking a cut, and also the government is gonna be like, hey, you know, we as well took the brunt and the most flying share of the booty, you know, facilitated it all. So
The government?
yeah, so it would that that would take you know the bullet I would say.
So you
But
think the
yeah,
government should be paying the bulk of this reparations?
so yeah, it would be these S&P, Nasdaq. It's the funds is there. It's just is, do the government wants to not invest over here in something that's foreign and strategic and profitable and is in the vision, but this is just a blemish that we can get over with and we can patch up with, not recognizing torment to citizens of its own nation. It's it's a can of worms that that's been open, and Black folks and Americans alike have been dealing with all types of injustices that don't align with the Constitution. So I don't know, how do we deal with it, and how do we really bury these skeletons that's dancing and chilling in the closet, waiting for the right time to pop out. So I do believe that whoever that chooses to get in office, you know, at that level, is going to have to really deal with that issue, that American issue. Obama, he dodged that. He was dealing with so much.
Yeah, Obama dodged it, and if anybody was going to give it, if it was going to give it, it would have been Obama. Like if it was one person you would expect to give it, it would be the first Black president. But he dodged it more than any other president probably. And Kamala Harris dodged it as well. Kamala didn't really want anything to do with it when she was vice president, and she didn't really speak about it much in her presidential campaign. Even what's her name, the Democrat darling, what's her name, Jasmine Crockett. Even she has come out against reparations. So it seems like y'all would be kind of like having an uphill battle to convince white politicians, because you can't even convince the Black ones to support the cause. you know um so I don't know, and I don't know if asking for money to the tune, like, just to say the money is there. It's one thing to say the money is there, because we went through COVID, and a lot of people say they found the money for COVID, so they can find the money for this. I would say that COVID was like one of these a health scare that I think the government was within its limits of spending to say, let's do something about this. Um, but I don't
So
know
what?
if it's fair. I don't know if it's fair to compare COVID with um, with reparations. And even though the government had the money to give out for COVID, even though they printed the money or borrowed it or whatever, it spiked our inflation. Inflation went up, it messed up the economy. So something like this, and even reparations payment, would be a lot larger than, like 5K a month, 5K every 3 months, until every Black person retires, is going to cost way more than what COVID cost us. And so the what it's going to do for inflation and just the economy would be ridiculous. It would I don't know how our economy would bounce back from that, because it would just be something that they'd just be paying forever. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know if it's something that the economy would recover from. Is that something that you think is a legitimate concern, or do you think America can afford that type of inflation, or even a jarring of the economy like that?
Sounds like what you're saying, that America needed Africans and black people, all of kind, they need us then and now. So that you're saying the economy wouldn't survive without us.
No, I'm saying the economy would not survive if the government were to print that type of money that you're talking about. If the government had to borrow 5K every 3 months to pay out as reparations, the economy would not survive that type of a hit. Like the inflation would be out the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just don't know if the economy would survive having to make that type of payout.
Hey,
And I just don't know if people are concerned about that or have I don't want to
my
say if
big
they've thought, well, have they thought about it, and if is it something that makes them second guess how much they're asking for?
well, what FBA is asking for cannot be paid, cannot be returned in funds. What the funds is a returning of a slight reproach to reconcile. I don't think the people have really like wrapped their heads around the capacity of slavery for 400 years and counting. Like,
What are you
if you,
counting? What are you counting to get 400 years?
okay, I'll say 300 years. I'm counting.
Well, if we're going to say America, America started in 1776.
I'm counting constitutional adherence. So if you're not adhering to the Constitution, that's you on something else. You're not doing democracy.
No, I'm trying to make sense of the 400 years.
Let's say it's 60 years of democracy. Roundabout 70 years of it is what it is. Democracy. You vote for who's in power. You have those choices, but it's been
But
dated.
I'm talking about the 400 years of slavery you mentioned. 400 years of slavery, right? Because
Yes.
what I'm saying is America was founded in 1776, and then slavery was abolished in 1865, which means that's less than 100 years, right? So it was less, so it's not 400 years that slavery was happening in America. It was less than 100 years. If we're counting, if you're going to go back to, let's say, 1619, the 1619 date, or I know FBA even goes back earlier than that to maybe 1526, I think. But if you're going back that far back, that's not America. That's not the United States of America. That any type of reparations before 1776 would have to come from either the British government or Spain, Portugal, the Dutch, because those are the people that had your ancestors enslaved before 1776. So America would only be responsible for that less than 100 years of slavery. And that less than 100 years of slavery would be, let's say, 2 generations. So they would owe you for reparations for, 2 generations of your ancestors that were enslaved.
True.
Right? And I think that is important as well to to keep in mind in terms of how much we're asking for and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I think when we throw out these huge numbers, I think we say it with the 400 years in mind. But I think if we think about it a little more, we'll realize that it shouldn't. In fairness, it shouldn't be 400 years. And so
It's
I think
more
we
like,
may have to adjust our numbers.
well, British, they 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 abolished slavery about 80 or 90 years earlier. So that's more aligned with world view of it, of slavery. So yeah, guess about a generation. But setting free, slaves, you know, generations on property and stuff like that. Just, what are you free to do? You know, uh, stay in captivity. So it was a straight um, joke of a it was not a joke. It was somewhat a pump fake. It was somewhat of a um, unfinished business.
Yeah, you said what
Lincoln
else? What were they? I'm sorry to cut you. You said what were they supposed to do with the slaves after they freed them?
stay in captivity. Where do
Yeah, because
you?
what they did was pretty much when they went into sharecropping, um, and that was, I guess, sharecropping at the time seemed to be the most sensible thing for them to do, since farming was really all they knew in a way. That's
Yes,
pretty much all they knew. So sharecropping to them may have been like a good deal. You know what I'm saying? Like it may be one thing for us to look back at it now and say sharecropping just seems like, another form of slavery. But I think if we do the history on it, it's possible that the abolitionists, the people that wanted to end slavery, it's likely they were in favor of sharecropping. Um, because sharecropping was one way for slaves to kind of get on their feet, if you will. Um, because again, like I said, that's pretty much all they knew was the work they've been doing. And I don't know how many other options there were for them. So I don't know if putting them into sharecropping was necessarily like something that was done vindictively. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seemed like the only feasible or practical thing to do at the time.
there's
But
solution.
D1, you go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's um, reasonable solutions. There's options that are not far fetched. And before we even really speak on reparations, it's it's the the inhumanity is just the recognition of the inhumanity of the deeds done. And we thought, FBA, we thought we got back past a lot of this, to even forget even the idea of reparation. So, you know, we're we're dealing with healing as well as unfair treatment. So, it's hand in hand. And if
Yeah.
America come to the table with both hands out, willing to look at us as true Americans and the plight we took together in building America, and see the injustice in it, and look as a fellow American and knowing his place and not even knowing his place, nothing like that, but just knowing, you know, you have a place here. You built the place here. And the idea of being lazy and all that, you know, it's just you know.
Yeah, D1 Marshall in the chat says he wants 10 million apiece for everyone.
So you're gonna get that 10 million, but you're gonna get a spit in the face, and then you probably have you probably have a burning cross on your lawn in the morning.
Yeah, but why wouldn't 5K every 3 months give you the same thing? Because 5K every 3 months till you retire may end up being more than 10 million. You know what I'm saying?
It's something, you know, we can all can stomach and you know.
Let me ask you this question. You know, because every race has been enslaved at some point in history, right? There was a point in history where North Africans went into Europe and enslaved the white folks, brought them back into Africa as slaves, right? Indians were enslaved here. Everywhere on the planet, every people have been enslaved. But Black Americans are the only ones who want reparations for slavery that didn't happen to them, like slavery that happened to their ancestors. Black Americans are the only ones that would even consider asking for reparations for slavery that happened to their ancestors. You know, because every person on the planet has ancestors that were slaves, but Black Americans are the only ones that would ask for it,
How do you
for
think you spend?
reparations for that. Why do you think that is?
You know, just like I said, man, it's a hand in hand thing. You know, when someone can say, I did wrong, or I maybe wasn't maybe, or that was the time, or got it tatted on their forehead, no regrets or whatever, you know. It's a hand in hand thing. You know, the Germans, they apologized and they still paying their reparations. Just like I said, you know, Native Americans that's federally recognized, they recognize that they massacred tribes and took land and ripped up treaties and such and such. They recognize that ill, but you know, Black man, you can take that on the chin. You can take it off, you know, because you know, you're so great. You can take that L. Everybody catching up to you, really. So I don't know how you want us to really feel. I don't really know. But all I know, I can call a spade, and I know it's righteous, and I know what the Constitution say. You know, I don't know what to say right now, but I know how to read. You know, so I know conjecture. You know, that's, you know, I don't. It's I don't know how you can like stand on that. It don't make no sense, and really not stand on it. I don't really know how you stand on being a Christian country. You're really not a Christian country. Not stand like certain things you can't say and stand on it and have like chicken legs.
Yeah, it seems there's something about, you know, they actually went to war to end slavery. I think Here, let me I was actually in the middle of reading a comment. Um
I could
Here,
use.
let me read this comment I was in the middle of reading when you came in. Because this kind of speaks to what I wanted to say. This guy says, it's elusive 1181. He says, I have documented proof that I have ancestors who fought for the Union Army and a few never came home. My family paid our reparations in blood to free your ancestors in the first place. Less than 1% of the entire nation owned slaves, and most people thought it was barbaric. It wouldn't be impossible to find the descendants of slave plantation owners. They have names like Pelosi, Bush, Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Gates. He's funny. Probably the majority of old money elites had a past hand in slavery when it was legal. So instead of that truth being told, they once again turn poor black against poor white and watch us dance to their tune. So, that what I wanted to speak to was the fact of, because America went to war to end slavery, right?
What was his option?
Say again?
What was the other option?
What was the other option? The other option was to allow slavery to spread, because they went to war to stop the expansion of slavery. They went to war and then later on, the war was to end slavery. So they literally went to war, and hundreds of thousands of these white men died trying to end slavery. And, I'm wondering, like, are we really saying, because according to this guy that wrote the comment, as far as he's concerned, that should be counted as reparations as well. And I don't know if I can say he's wrong. Like, I don't understand why the country going to war, like actually destroying itself. The Civil War pretty much destroyed the country, and it had to be rebuilt. And so I don't understand why that, in and of itself, the fact that they went to war to end slavery, why that is not counted as part of their reparations, to me is a little unfair to the country. Because a lot of these white folks that you're asking to pay reparations are going to end up being ancestors of not slaveholders, but ancestors of people that died in that war to end slavery. Like, how can we end up looking at those people? Can we at least say, okay, those people are exempt? If you can prove that you have ancestors that died in the Civil War fighting for the North, then you're exempt. Your reparations is paid. I think that's what this guy is speaking to, and I don't think that's unfair. Luckman, you there? Did I lose you? Yeah, looks like Luckman fell off. Yeah, Lukeman fell off. But it is what it is. So I'm just going to read a couple more of these comments. Secret Squirrel Scottish Gamer says they just want infinite money. These guys are funny. The Dark One says, I come from Russia. My ancestors were slaves. No one owes me nothing. And I, just like the rest of us, haven't even thought about asking for reparations because that's beyond absurd. Yo, fellas, learn a thing or two from the snow homies. These guys are funny, bro. Mal14D20 says, the longer you wait, the longer, the more expensive. If you just paid in the beginning, then it would have been better. Daddy says money won't solve a cultural problem. We already paid in the form of welfare. You want more? Come get it. F y'all. Learn history. That's funny. Anywho, let me let this sound rock for a little bit.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. When God spoke his words, they said he was deranged. Marley sung his songs, they said the same. Malcolm X and Martin Luther fought relentlessly so we could be better. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise.
Very, very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves.
Nobody
Speak of righteousness, they say
more loyal to white people despite the treatment than black people have, right? Nobody. You show me one race. You know what? They make options and opportunities available when other ethnicities come here or what have you that we will never get a chance to have, right? And then they turn around and tell us, stop asking about reparations. Whenever we want to ask for equality and fairness, it's a problem.
So
white America.
So it's spent several $1 trillion. When is it enough?
Wait, we'll spend $7 trillion on what? What do we spend it on?
Let's go.
It'll never be enough. It'll never be enough. Doesn't matter how many trillions you spend. It'll never be enough. You heard the man. Several $1 trillion on what? Several $1 trillion on what? It'll never be enough. None of the federal programs that were put in place throughout history, it'll never be enough. And it'll never be enough because the oppression has never stopped. It's been ongoing and it continues today. You're going to have to pay for the oppression that's going to happen in the future. So they want that as well. So it's never going to be enough. Luke Man, blessings. Just give me a minute. I gotta take care of something real quick. I'm gonna let this video play for a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me sort something out. But I see you in the back. If you don't mind waiting around, but I gotta take care of something.
Wait, spend $7 trillion on what? What did we spend it on?
Let's go back to Lyndon Johnson model.
Lyndon Johnson, you're talking about the war on poverty? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
1965?
Why was that done?
All right, but here's the deal.
What about
So, the Great Society program is what Crowder mentioned. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT about that. I said, what is the Great Society program? And was it a response to calls for reparations? And that's the important piece, I think, is whether or not it was a call for reparations. And here's what ChatGPT says. It says, excellent question and a very important one for understanding how post-civil rights era federal policy interacted with the idea of reparations. Here's a complete breakdown. What was the Great Society? The Great Society was a series of domestic programs launched by President Lyndon B. Johnson between 1964 and 1968. Its overarching goal was to end poverty and racial injustice in the United States and expand access to education, healthcare, and housing. LBJ announced the vision at a University of Michigan speech in 1964, saying the Great Society would rest on three pillars: the elimination of poverty, the elimination of racial injustice, and the advancement of quality of life for all Americans. The major Great Society programs: the War on Poverty in 1964 to 1968. There was the Economic Opportunity Act of 1968, which was created, or rather, that act created the Job Corps, which is training for young people, VISTA, which is a domestic volunteer service like the Peace Corps, community action programs, which are local anti-poverty agencies, and Head Start, which is early childhood education. The second type of program was the education programs. So the first was the War on Poverty. The second is the education programs, which are Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965, the first major federal funding for K through 12 schools, especially in poor areas. The Higher Education Act of 1965 expanded federal scholarships and loans. The third type of program is healthcare programs like Medicare and Medicaid in 1965. Medicare is health care insurance for seniors. Medicaid is health coverage for low-income families. The fourth type of program are civil rights and voting rights programs. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed segregation and discrimination, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 protected Black voting rights in the South. Fifth type of program was housing and urban development. HUD in 1965 was a new cabinet department. The Model Cities program funded urban redevelopment. And I think Crowder mentioned the Model Cities program as well. We may talk about that a little more. Number 6, the sixth type of program is the environmental and consumer reforms, like the Clean Air Act of 1963 through 67, and Highway Beautification Acts of 1965, among others. All right, now the next question is, was the Great Society a response to reparations demands? And ChatGPT says no, not explicitly. The Great Society was not designed as reparations for slavery or segregation, but it was influenced by the same moral and political pressures that fueled reparations debates. And I think it's fair to say that that's what Crowder meant, that these programs were fueled by those pressures from those reparations debates. And it says, here's the nuance, the factor, motivation. It gives a factor and then a relation to reparations. So the motivation, the relation to reparations is that LBJ's policies Hey, you there, Lokman?
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh shit. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Can you hear me? Yo, you there?
You hear me now? You should be able to hear me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing
My
you
fucking
now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, so what's on your mind? Yeah, you kind of got dropped off after I asked that question. I think I may have
Just
even
doing a little
forgotten my
math.
question. Say again?
I was just doing a little math.
Okay. What'd you come up with? Lokman, can you hear me?
Let's go with this little station thing, man. This shit kicking me
Yeah,
out.
am I seeing two of you? Are you there?
Yeah.
Am I seeing two of you?
Not even up.
Yeah, you got two of you up here. But you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, what were we talking about again?
Just getting into you know, um some white Americans feel that they pay their dues to
Right.
FBA, and it was all there, I guess.
Yeah, and I think some white folks thinks the country may have paid its dues with that.
I beg to differ.
Do you think it should count for something?
It's not even that. I'm a regular.
I'm not sure if you're saying anything because I can't hear you. You went out.
Oh, shit. You hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going out. But yeah, I'm a regular American. I went to University of Hartford for visual arts. I'm not a scholar in history, uh, uh, geopolitics, or whatever you want to call them. I just know that through the history, it shows that there was supposed to be something acquired for FBA at that time.
Looks like you went out again.
I'm not sure when I went out, but it didn't finalize at some point. So it was all being written up. It was all drawn up. It was all considered.
What was all written up and drawn up? Reparations?
Yeah,
When?
40 acres and a mule was not just a rumor amongst slaves and free men. That's not that was a real thing. So
I mean, it may have been a real thing, but it wasn't a promise to all slaves, and absolutely not to their descendants. Right? The 40 acres and a mule thing was I don't know if the guy who made that proclamation, if you will, I don't know if he had the authority to even do it, because it wasn't an order made by the president or anyone like that who had the authority to do so. And the guy who did it, he was a field officer in the army, and he promised it to a number of blacks in a particular, I think it's Missouri, and it was a fixed amount of land. There were like 400 acres.
Yep.
I'm sorry, not 400, like 400,000 acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
So given how much land it was, we know that it wasn't a promise to all black people. It was just a promise to a certain number of blacks that lived in a certain part of the country. And I think it was as part of their willingness to fight in the war. It was kind of like their reward for doing that. But it absolutely was not a reparations promise to all people who were enslaved. It just wasn't. And even the people who some black people did get that land, and then they lost the land. And after they lost that land, they actually went to court and sued about it, and they lost their cases. So because I think they had a weak case to begin with. Like, I'm not a lawyer, but I just don't think they had a strong case. And I think people today have an even weaker case to claim that 40 acres and a mule thing. If when it was offered and taken away, if they couldn't win a court case then, you're definitely not going to win it now. I just don't see it happening. But 40 acres and a mule, man, that's kind of like a myth that was promised to all black people, because that's just not true.
Hey, like I said earlier, I'm a regular American. It would be amazing to see America, you know.
Let me say this to you, Luquan. Let me just say this. You see, if there are 43 million black Americans, right? If America was to consider giving each black American, each one of the 43 million, if they wanted to give them 40 acres, I don't think we have enough America to do that. There's not enough land in America to give 43 million people 40 acres apiece.
Well, I'm not
And
talking.
then 40 acres and a mule. I'm pretty sure we don't have 43 million mules to give to every black American. But just just in terms of like, so even if it's just money payout, I think the inflation that's going to be cost by $5,000 every 5 months, or $10 million that Dwan Marshall is asking for. The guy in Crowder's video was asking for 15 million, right? So
Absurd.
10 million is a small amount. Like, most people are asking for more than that. And I think what you asked for is even more than that. 5K every 3 months.
I told you, I did the math. It's less than $1 million per person.
It's less than $1 million for each person.
Less than $1 million. In the life, okay. For the whole duration, it's 47 years that you receive benefits, and it would be 9,400,000, just about.
Okay, so about 9 million for each person.
900,000.
Oh, 900,000. I thought you said 9 million. Okay, 900,000. Okay. All right, I hear you. But is it $5,000 plus the college funding that you were talking about, or would that $5,000 every 5 months? Because $5,000 every 5 months only works out to like anywhere from $1,700 a month, and then after taxes, you're gonna get $1,000 a month. So, with that extra $1,000 a month, you're really not gonna have college funding and housing vouchers. So, would the college funding and housing vouchers be on top of that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be more than $1 million a piece.
Listen, this money is gonna be going directly right back into the economy. You can't leave the country with this thing. You could leave, but you ain't about to get none of these benefits. It's going directly back into the economy.
Sure, but that's not gonna prevent inflation.
Inflation's gonna cover it, tax is gonna cover it, and then who gonna cover it? The new billionaires, the new tax bracket. Yeah.
Wait, did you say no? It's not going to prevent inflation. It's gonna make inflation go, even though it's going to go back into the economy. That's what's going to cause the inflation,
exactly.
Right? The fact that you're throwing all of this money into the economy is going to make everything inflated. So the price of everything is going to go up, like by a large amount. You know what I mean? If you throw money into people's hands, if people have more money, like, the price of everything is going to go up.
No.
Because the more money you have chasing goods, like the price of those goods are going to go up. So people are going to have all of this money, but it won't be worth as much as they want it to be worth. It sounded like you wanted to say something.
This is how you kill the lower income and middle class. We're funding
most of America's dreams with the lower middle class tax dollars. You know, it should be the other way around. You know, once you get to a certain level, you know, you should be spending your money in certain ways where possibly, you know, you're not going to be taxed as much, but yeah, you're in a different bracket now. So switch our approach to America. That's really what it is. You know, if you don't want to pay reparations, stop sacking the lower middle class. Either or, one something has to give. You know, because we're because FBA is on the same.
Give me a second. I got to take a phone call.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, FBA, you know, we're on the same playing field, same board. You know, you know, this is a redemption for to be on the same to be on the same board, so we can really have these conversations with no ilk, you know, no bad blood, you know, and we can do these, you know. So, it's once again.
Were
Predatory
you talking to
nature.
me, Lukman, or are you talking to a friend? Sound like you're talking to someone with you?
No, I'm talking. You know, I don't know if there's a chat or whatnot.
Oh, okay.
We the only ones on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people are in there. It's not a lot of people in the chat right now.
I can't. I don't
I
know.
think Beat Active, I think maybe in the chat. Peace to you, Beat Active. But yeah, where were we, Lukman?
Yeah, so it's yeah, I was ranting. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, so we on the same FBA is on the same we coming up at the same level. Like we on the same level. You know, it's not that we want to make things even more disadvantaged on the other side, make the scale on the other way. No. It's we want this we want to reconcile, you know. And even then we still gonna be, you know, affluent and productive members of American society and culture and influence and whatnot. You know, it's not even that we need reparations. It's this, man, make it right, make something right. Like I said, you gonna stop sacking the middle and lower class and and divert these predatory ways of business practices, or give you know people a real opportunity to really um, uh, catch up. You know.
But Lukman, what you mentioned was 900,000. I got a guy in the chat that says $10 million, right? The guy in Crowder's video said 15 million, right? So and the amount you're asking for is
Is
like
what half
most
of
people ain't asking for that. Like most FBA people, if they hear you say that amount, they're gonna tell you to be quiet. That's not enough. They absolutely will. Like that number of 10, the 10 million is kind of the lowest I've seen. You're the only person I've seen lower than 10 million. So I don't know if FBA folks are really going to be rocking with just $10 million or $1,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not going to be enough for them. And I don't know if I gotta tell you, I don't know if anything's gonna be enough. I think that if even if the government pays out $10 million today to all black people, like there's gonna be something where the call for reparations is for more is gonna come up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a new bottom.
It's
And
gonna
black
and it's never gonna be enough.
the black people just were very well at being at the bottom because we can make do. We know, how to survive, and I don't think no one else can survive like we can. So it's probably
But you do
best.
agree that no amount is gonna be enough.
Nah,
No,
not
no amount is ever gonna be enough. And I think that's why all of these countries are
I
so
think
adamant about not even starting to pay because they know if once they start,
it,
they ain't never gonna be stopping.
there's enough. There's amount that's enough
Well,
because
so far, your amount, I know one thing, your amount is definitely not gonna be enough.
I feel like I feel like just like there was two Americas back then, there's still two Americas now, and one America, that one side of America is like, they kind of right, and the other side is like, we lost once, we're not losing again. No, put the nail in the coffin, my guy. You're done. Burn the flag. Wipe wipe your forehead and get to work. You're American. You're not Confederate. Get that out your head, and that's just going. It's just going to create even more. What's that called? Inevitable destruction. It's just going to be a prolonged. I don't know how long you want to. I don't know how long you want to bleed blue, but there's no reason to. There's no reason to. Why you
Okay.
gotta? You here in 2025. Why is anyone shedding blood for what? For what? Resources?
Shedding blood.
Yeah. What are we shedding blood for? Um, the God of Moses, the God of Christmas. What are we shedding blood for? I don't get it. So it's like, you know, it's inevitable. How I don't know, but the Black American FBA will not be a fall guy. That's what we're not gonna be. Never again. Hopefully, no person of ethnic pride and color and vigor. No, don't be the fall guy. You fall, fall for your family, if anything. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I ain't got it. I, I ain't got. I ain't living for Amazon and Netflix, subscriptions and such. I don't live that. That's not why I wake my eyes up and wipe the crust out my eyes. But
Yeah, let me say
definitely.
what's up to Dex real quick. One second, Luke, mom. Peace to you, Dex. What's happening?
What's going on?
Ain't nothing,
Peace.
bro. Long time no hear.
Yeah, I've been taking care of my baby girl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the important stuff.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. We here talking about. Did you get a chance to watch that Steven Crowder in the barbershop video?
Yeah, I watched it.
What did you think about homeboy asking for 15 million?
Well, my stance on it is silly. It's very silly that people ask for it, 15 million in American currency.
Yeah, but you agree with reparations though, Dex. So how much do you think is a what do you think is a sensible amount to ask for?
I think we should be asking for land, not no currency. The land gonna come with the currency if you ask for land. I think it should just be land. I don't think it should be any form of any type of currency if it ain't gold. If it's gold, then it's okay. But you
So how much land should they ask for?
know, I say like 100 acres. 100 acres.
100 acres a piece
Yeah, for sure.
for every African American?
Yeah, for every African American, for sure.
100 acres.
Yeah,
That's a lot of land, Dex. What you gonna do with 100 acres?
so I'm gonna use it for farming. I'm gonna use it for farming. You feel
You're
me?
gonna
And
go back to farm. Like, I mean, I can understand, like, right after slavery, I can understand where black people would would be able to farm 100 acres because that's all they've been doing. But today, most black folks don't farm no more. Like, what are they gonna do with 100 acres other than sell it right back to the white man?
nah, I wouldn't. I mean, if that's what they want to do, they could do it. But I mean, like, I'm talking about like making it generational again. When I say farming, like, I mean, it ain't like ain't no black people farming, so it ain't something that can't be taught to us, or us know how to learn how to do it or anything, or and it ain't just farming too. Like you can use property for a lot of things, like buildings. It's companies getting money for having houses on the land. You know what I mean? So it's just like it depends on how you want to do it. Me specifically, I would farm, so it helps the economy and the community too.
Word. But you understand that's like what is that? 4 billion acres?
Yeah, I understand.
Where they gonna get all this land from, Dex?
I mean, they took it from us, so you feel me? Like
They took land from you? Where they took land from you?
they took land from certain people, and then they took land from the people that was already over here too. So it ain't hard to give back.
Dex. Dex. I'm sure even Lukeman is like 100 Lukeman, what you gonna do with 100 acres, bro? Lukeman, you there? Tell us what you're gonna do with your 100 acres.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
All right.
Dex,
100
Dex. I
acres.
think Dex, 4 billion acres. I don't know if America is that big. I think we're gonna have to, like, for that to happen, we definitely got to make Canada a state to give out 100 to give out 100 acres to every black person. We would have to conquer. We would have to conquer Canada and give away some of theirs, but like we'd have to give away the whole America and conquer Canada and give away Canada to black folks. So Dex, you would want all of America and Canada as reparations for slavery.
Hold on. You saying so America is not enough land for them to give back to every African American?
Not if everyone gets 100 acres.
Or how many acres is America alone? North America. North America.
AI says USA has approximately 2.26 billion acres of land area. Like if you do 43 million, if you do 43 million black people and times that by 100, that's That's 4.3 billion. That's 4 billion. That's 4 billion acres.
Yes,
So
All right.
you
So
would be,
how was they gonna do the 40 acres?
how are they going to do 40 acres? Because 40 acres was not promised to all black people. First of all, back then
I
there
know.
weren't 43. Let me just say it. Back then there weren't 43 million blacks, right? And it wasn't, and even if it, let's say there were only 2 million blacks back then, right? It was 40 acres wasn't promised to all of them. It was only promised to certain blacks in that part of the country. So the intention was never to do 40 acres and a mule
I
to
know, but
every black person.
yeah, but the reason why I came up with 100 is because we got to think about the Jim Crow too, like how much black people have been deprived of resources and redlining and all these things that took place to oppress black people to keep them in a certain place.
But that don't mean we got to conquer Canada to give black people land, bro.
I never said we got to
Jim
conquer
Crow
Canada.
mean, bro, if you want more than 4 billion acres to give to black folks,
Well, if that's what they
you're
got to
gonna have
do,
to conquer Canada.
well,
And you may have to,
they
yeah,
gonna
listen,
they gonna
man.
they gonna have to buy some land in Canada and repay what they owe. That's what you do. That's what you do when you owe somebody. When you owe somebody, if you gotta go hit up your partner or something, let me borrow $20 so I can pay him back. That's what you gotta do. That's what they have to do. I don't care how you give us the land, just give it to us.
I don't want no cold frost Canada land. No farming land up there.
Well, listen, man.
You don't.
Trump is
I told him, you ain't even gotta farm it. You could build some shit on it, and you feel me, rent that shit out, and that shit'll forever pay itself. You feel me? Like you ain't gotta necessarily farm land. You could have different things. You could put a ski resort or something. You feel me? Like you gotta. It ain't just about farming. You feel me? It could be used for multiple different things. Land is land. When you own the land, look at where we live at right now. Like all the stuff that's on the land that the U.S. government own right now. You got stores, you got banks, you got all type of stuff that's in commerce right now with the United States government on their land. So
all
if
right,
you
but are you okay? Are you willing to go down from 100 acres? Are you willing to go
yeah,
down
I
to
do that. I do that. I wouldn't say 100 acres is more than America though. But like
okay?
it has to be a good amount. At least give us like I would say out of the North American continent. I mean North American region, it would have to be like at least like I would say like 85%.
85% of America.
Yeah.
Yo, yo, bro, for real, man.
Yeah. Like what's so surprising about that?
Okay. So because I'm saying like you want them to give you 85% of the country for reparations. Like are y'all gonna still be under the US government or are you gonna start your own government?
Nah, we wouldn't be under no US government.
So you're gonna start your own government.
Yeah, like I said, if you got the land, you don't even need that.
Yo,
You don't even need that
you
currency.
making it worse.
If you got no. Listen. If you got the land, you don't need that currency. You do not. That's where that America gains its currency is through the land. That's why you got these military people deploying all around the world in different spots trying to take over. It's because they need them. They need more land so they can gain more revenue. China is big. Russia is way bigger than North America. Like you got Africa that's bigger than North America. Like all those countries are wealthy because they have more land mass. They have more things to do on there. They got more commerce going through there. Like it just that is what it is. America is not that big if you really think about it.
Okay, so you want for 13% of the population to control 85% of the country, and then 87% of the population is going to live on 13%, 15% of the country.
Well,
Like
maybe
that's
I get what you're saying. But maybe that'll just make people start going back to where they originally from, like where their roots is from. So like we were forced over here, so that's not necessarily like meaning us because this is our homeland now. But like other people, the Europeans and stuff, like most of them just came over here. You feel me? Like most of them just came over here, so that'll just had them like go back to where they came from, like for real.
they'll just go back to where they came from.
Yeah, they it's 250, 260 million of them, and they divided up into groups. Some of them Irish, some of them Spanish, some of them just European, just everywhere. Germany, like you feel me? Like you got just different groups of white people in America. I ain't FBA either, by the way. I'm just letting you know. I'm just saying, like, would it be more logical to ask for reparations according to the
Hold on.
sense
Hold
of
on.
reparations, according to our ancestors' deaths and things like that. That's the logical sense. They pay. They pay.
Lukman, what do you think about Dex's proposal? He wants 85% of the country.
Dexter. Me
I
not
don't know.
know where you come from. So you're foreign.
Wait, Lukman, wait, you're Caribbean? I thought you were FBA.
I'm FBA.
No way. What kind of Caribbean accent was that just now? If Tariq was here, he'd ask, "Where are you from?" If Tariq heard that accent, he would be all over you, bro. Like, where did that accent come from? That ain't no FBA accent.
I got a question though. Like, why does it have to be inconsistent with
I feel
FBA?
like I'm in the twilight zone right now with y'all too. What the hell? I'm sorry, Dex. Go ahead.
Why does like reparations have to be inconsistent with FBA so much? Like, why can't it just be like a normal guy that was born in America of African descent wanting what his ancestors had been deprived of or owed in labor? Like, why do I have to be considered a FBA to be asking for things like that?
Dex, do you think
Yeah,
85% of America is a logical payment for the work that slaves did?
I think it should be more. I think it should be the whole country, but
They should get the whole country and even some of Canada.
It should be really the whole country, but I'm saying, like, you feel me, to be reasonable, you feel me, if they want to keep this economy going and everything, like, give us 85.
If they want to keep the economy going, they should give Black Americans the
No,
whole country.
I tell you this. I'm gonna give you my real opinion. Like, if they really want, instead of giving us reparations at all, like, just give us our sovereignty back. Like, let's just become a whole sovereign people. Like, are people getting killed by the U.S.
Give you
government?
your sovereignty back. Wait. So you believe your sovereignty like Native American sovereignty, like that type of sovereignty?
Well, not necessarily Native American sovereignty, but yeah,
So
like,
what sovereignty are you talking about? What sovereignty?
like just stop, don't police us, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, kind of like the Native Americans, but not necessarily. Like, we basically just don't govern us. Don't govern.
You want to govern yourself?
Yeah, we want to govern ourselves.
So you want to 85% of the country. 85% of the country is gonna be how many states is that? There are 50 states. 85% of 50 is what?
Like
80% of 50 is 40.
Yep, 40.
So 85% is about,
It'll be
what is that?
41. It'll be 41 states.
Bro, let's just round it off and say 40. You want 40 of the states for Black Americans, right? You want 40 states for 43 million people.
Yeah, why not?
Why? Right now, we got 50 states for over 400 million, right? So you want there are 450 million people in America
Right.
in 50 states, and you're telling America that 50 of that 450 million should be in 40 of the states, and then the other 400 million can keep the other 10 states.
Yep. They could do that. They could have the East Coast. They could have the whole East
They
Coast.
can have the East Coast.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, yo, Lukman, remember when you and I started this conversation, I told you what you were asking for was chump change, was pennies compared to what other people were asking for. You remember me saying that to you?
I'm reconsidering. Yeah,
You said you're reconsidering. Well, you want more now, right?
yeah.
Well, you ain't even FBA, man. So I don't even know. It's no wonder your amount is so low, Lukman. You're not even FBA. Like you just
But you know, American Dream. Like I be saying like different strategic shit. Like I may say this one day, and then I feel like a whole nother thing another day. Like, but
I'm
all of
not
it.
surprised because you went from 100 acres and you cut that down pretty quickly. Like you went from 100 acres to how many acres now? Well, you went from 100 acres apiece to 50 to 85 to
Yeah.
40 states, bro.
No, but that's
I
being
don't know which one is worth more. Like
that's being generous though. That's being generous.
that's being generous. Like you're taking 85% of the country and you're like, yeah, I'm being nice.
This is not their country. This is not
This is
not
not
their country.
their country. This
That's
is
where
not
we.
their country. Whose country is it?
It's nobody's country but the natives. This is their country.
So when FBA get the 85%, are they gonna give it back to the natives or are they gonna keep it to themselves?
Not
How is it that y'all gonna keep the whole 85% of the country
that's to
and
be
govern it for yourselves, knowing it belongs to the native Indians?
it
Y'all
don't
not
belong.
gonna give it back?
No, it don't all belong to the native Indians because
So how much you gonna give back?
no, but listen to what I'm saying. It don't. That's for it to be discussed between the African American community and the Native American community because a lot of them are intermingled. Not a lot, but a small portion of them are intermingled. And then not even only that, we were forced over here by a whole different group of people. So you know, we have to get along and we have to figure it out. But if
All right,
that's
so
the case,
let's say it was 100 acres, right? Let's say America did conquer Canada, right? And Trump is attacking Venezuela, so we may get Venezuela as well. And then we're gonna go around and we're just gonna collect some countries, and we're able to get you this 100 acres, right?
yeah.
How much of your land are you would you give you personally? How much of yours would you give back to the native Indians?
Mine personally,
Of your 100 acres, how much?
what well, my 100 acres, I wouldn't give none of it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just me. But I'm saying being logical as far as like a talk between the two communities that could be done though. It can be done. Like I'm for the cause. Like if that's what we got to do, I give them 25%. You feel me?
Oh, okay, so you would give them 25 of your acres. You give them 25 acres to the
Yeah,
Indian.
yeah,
Word up.
yeah.
I
Because
mean,
it originally belongs to him. So I'm not gonna be like, nah, we ain't doing it. And then we got to figure out like if they intermingle with us. So, like if this tribe intermingle with Africans, then they could claim it as well as us. Like I don't think we ever thought like that. Like I don't think we ever thought personally. Like if I own 100 acres, it's not just mine. It's for the whole race. It's not gonna be just governed by me. You feel me? Like no, it's gonna be for everybody. Like you know what I mean? Like it's we just getting it back. That's all we doing. We just getting it back in individualized situations. That's all it would be. That's why I said we need our sovereignty back. That way we ain't governed by no American rules. You know, that's kind of like a Western mentality to be like, this is just mine because that's capitalistic. You feel me?
I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, bro. Like It
I like
just
I like
sounds.
I like the sovereign idea.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, because like that's what I'm saying. Like if we that matters over the land in a sense too. Like it really kind of matters over the land, but the land matters over money. So
exactly.
it's like the
But hold
sovereignty.
on. The issue I'm having with the sovereignty thing is that you said you want your sovereignty back as if you had your sovereignty before you were slaves, right? As if America took your sovereignty. Because, as far as I know, America
Yeah,
bought you as slaves.
yeah,
Y'all
but
were slaves
we were
in Africa.
sovereignty. We
So
were
what sovereignty are you going to get back if in Africa you were a slave? Like what sovereignty are you going to get back?
we were not slaves in
Go back
Africa.
to
You were not a slave in Africa. It was much more than slaves. We were scientists, pyramid builders. We was astrophysicists. We was all these things. We wouldn't come over here as slaves. They named us to be slaves to enforce their labor. That's all. That's all.
So what you want back is what you had in Africa.
Yeah, like we want our sovereignty back. What the same teachings and learnings and laws that was governed over us. We need that back. We don't need an American government ruling over us to tell us what to do and how to do it.
You
Because
know, you know those laws and rules
no, no,
that
no,
were,
no. Let me just say this.
those things don't exist
No,
anymore. Like
I
even
understand.
today in Africa, they don't live under the rules and laws and ways that they did
I know because it's
back in the
colonized. I
day.
know because it's colonized. That's why I said we need
Right.
our sovereignty back. That means like we don't need to be governed at all. And then like you got to think about it like this, like
So why not move back to Africa?
but that
Like,
but
because if you move back to Africa, if you
because
move
that's
back
not
to
the whole.
Africa, you get back whatever you left in Africa. Because
That's not
whatever
true.
because
That's not
whatever
true.
Africa is today, Africa just became that through its natural process. So
That's
if
not
you
true.
if you want to go back to what you had, the one of the best ways to do that is to just go back to Africa. I know Africa isn't what it used to be, but if you go back to Africa, you will at least have what the Africans today have. So is that
Exactly.
not enough?
No, you gotta it's not enough because you gotta realize they were colonized before colonization happened in America. So you looking at it as in the lens like, oh, we were always sovereign even over there. Like, yeah, we had sovereignty, but it wasn't what it is. It wasn't what we depict it as now. You feel me? Like, so you kind of right, but then again, you gotta look at it like this. Like, it's not the mission is not to go back to Africa like everybody need to go back over there because that wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't make sense to the economy as far as a global consumership. Like, you feel me? It wouldn't make sense in the global consumership because we know the money is really over here. You feel me? As well as over there. So you feel me? Like,
Right.
so it just wouldn't make sense to do it like that. But um, if
Okay,
if
so let's
if
just
we if
talk
we
about
did have hold on, if we did have our sovereignty though over anything, like okay, I could see that happening, but we don't have our sovereignty. That's what I'm saying.
and what you mean by sovereignty is your own country.
No, not yeah, like our own, not just our own country. Because if let's say we get 85% of America, right, and then we still getting governed by America, that gives them the right to just take it right back, like how they
Right. So
been.
you want your own country. You want to govern yourselves. That's what sovereignty means.
Yeah, yeah, but not
Yeah. So
necessarily. Not it. Sovereignty don't mean that you want
No,
to.
no. We have
that
no.
is what sovereignty means, man. That means you govern yourself. You're sovereign
Hold
over
on. We
yourselves.
have no nation. We have no nation. You can't name one. You don't know what country you're from. We don't know what country from. You said Africa. Africa has 52, 8 countries. Sovereign means you state your nation. Your where you from is that's the you're a people of that nation, and we're sovereign. We are not of this nation, so
No, but
we're
when you're sovereign, it means you're not governed by anyone other than yourselves.
exactly. So
Right. So
But
you're
hold
an
on, but y'all
independent
got a
nation.
misunderstanding of Africa though. That means y'all have a misunderstanding of Africa because Africa did have a lot of sovereignty. Like we wasn't governed by a government. It was no ideology of a government in Africa previous to colonization. That's the colonizers that came in there with that.
Right. The tribes in Africa governed themselves. The tribes were sovereign. The tribes weren't ruled by anyone other than their own selves. The elders ruled over the tribes or whatever, but they were all sovereign. So if you want your sovereignty back, you would want, what you're saying is you want to go back to like tribal living in Africa. Like, is that the sovereignty you're talking about, where you're back to being
No,
a
no, no.
tribe?
He's talking about just like how I was talking about. The Native Americans are sovereign. They have their own tribal nation that they talk to in council. The police don't police the tribe. Only federal police can police on federal land, but
Okay.
they're their own entity.
Right. So, but and they govern themselves. Right. So
Exactly.
so that's the sovereignty that he's talking. So he wants America to give black people 85% of the country,
No,
and
We're
then
not.
that
give
country.
us give
First
us
of all,
give
we're
us
not black.
give us everything or give us our sovereignty at this point. That's what I'm saying. Give us all the land or give us our sovereignty. Because it has to work one way or the other. It's either y'all
No,
gonna
it
give
can't
us
be or. It's no. If they give you all of the land, then you're gonna have your sovereignty as well, right? So if they give you 100% of the
no, that's
land.
not true. Because if we own all the land, that don't mean that they just gonna leave. That don't mean that they just gonna stop policing us. They got a military. They have nuclear bombs. They don't have to abide by anything we say. That mean that they gonna be fighting on their last leg. So at the end of the day, it's either give us all the land so we can have our sovereignty, or just give us our sovereignty and y'all can just have all the land. Because it wouldn't make sense for y'all to just give us all the land and then not give us
So I
sovereignty.
don't know what you mean by give us our sovereignty, but you don't give us any land.
Because look,
It's
if they
okay.
give
Hold on.
if they give us our sovereignty, right, without the land, then we just free to do what we want as far as not being governed by the Americans, the white or European Americans.
Okay, so
Let me.
you want to just live and not be arrested, like you can commit a crime and not be arrested. Like what does that look like, where you just want to live and not be bothered by the government? You don't want to pay any taxes. You
No,
don't
no,
want to
no,
have to go into the grocery store and pay for stuff. You're just going to go in the grocery store, take whatever you want, like no laws and rules apply to you. Is that what you mean? Like, is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly. You want to be able to walk up in the grocery store and just take whatever and don't pay for nothing, and
It's not
go anywhere and just
that's not
steal
that's
stuff,
not
and no,
that's
and
real
you can't get
sovereign.
arrested for nothing. Like, you just
That's
start
real.
shooting people and nobody arrests
No,
you.
no,
Like,
no,
what
no.
do you
he's
mean
talking about
exactly?
No,
he's
but you
talking about
assume.
the
Hold on,
socialist,
hold on, hold on, hold on. He's assuming
like
something.
socialist.
First of all, even when you're sovereign, you have certain rules you have to abide by. That don't mean go take from a neighbor. That don't mean go do the things that you don't normally do. That just means, as far as a government construct, that we need to stop being policed. We need to stop. We just need our sovereignty. But that don't mean I'm going in the grocery store to steal whatever I want. Going anywhere that I don't want to that I'm not wanted. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as far as the American construct of government. You feel me? Like, so just stop policing us. It's the basic stuff. It's not even like, it's not rocket science. I'm not saying like go to the extreme and
So
just
you
be.
want? Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you want to govern yourselves?
Yeah, that's what we
Yes.
truly want as a Black American people. We
Okay.
we want to be left alone. That's all
Left
we.
alone. Let me ask you this question: when y'all are left alone, right, and you're governing yourselves,
Yeah, yeah,
will
yeah.
you have a police force?
Yes.
Yes, we always have. We always
Because
have.
you keep talking about you don't want to be policed.
No, we don't want to be policed by our oppressors. That's the difference. The
Exactly.
people that brought us over here unwillingly in chains, killed us off at mass numbers. These are the people that we're being governed by. We never were governed by our oppressors because we were never oppressed in Africa. Now, if we talking about do we in our own sovereignty, do we have certain rules and laws we have to abide by? Then yeah, that's totally fine. But we're not just gonna run off with like chickens with our head cut off in America after we get our sovereignty. That's not what I'm saying.
It's going to be the total opposite, actually.
Exactly.
It's going to be rainbows, goddamn.
It's kind of like down south, like with the gun laws and stuff. Like in California, you got a strict gun law. So like they believe like I don't want to get too political, but the Republican Party believe like if everybody got a gun on them, don't nobody want no problems because everybody know that everybody got a gun. So why bother somebody that has a gun as well? Now the Democrats believe like, oh man, should nobody have guns? That way nobody no violence could occur. No violence. It's kind of like each of its own. Like if we all sovereign, why would we even bother each other? Because now I'm not governed by no police. All I gotta do is shoot you if I'm justified by it in my God's will. You know what I mean? So if you bothering me and I'm not bothering you and you pull a gun out on me and I gotta defend myself for my own living rights, then I'm gonna do that. But why would somebody want to bother me if that's the case? You feel me? It's like it's kind of like not rocket science. It's just leave me alone.
I really don't feel you. I really don't.
No, it's Twilight Land because Black Americans at the bottom. It's just works so well. It's not it. This is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it is because you gotta think about it. It's all we ever wanted was to just be left alone by the American government that keep oppressing us. That's all we want. That's all we've been asking for ever since we got over here. Our ancestors been asking for it.
What we asked for is totally not far fetched. I'm telling you,
y'all are not asking to be the
Hold on. We not hold on. What black person in America right now not asking for the police to keep pulling them over? Like why would we want the police to keep pulling us over? So we can get killed, shot?
Hold on, but you just said if y'all are self-governing, you are gonna have a police force. So is this police force not going to pull them over?
They abide by certain rules. It's not the tip. So if
they don't abide by the rules, the cops are going to pull them over, right?
If you go to Jamaica right now, or any other country, do you think the police is hold on? Do you think the police is as forceful as the American police?
Hell, even more so. Are you kidding, bro?
No, not even.
Hold on, no, hold on.
You don't hear about that many people getting shot by the police.
Dex, hang on. Did you hear Luke Man's accent? That was a Jamaican accent. That was more Jamaican than anything else.
How many Jamaicans?
Hold on, Dex. Let's ask Luke Man. Dex. Let's ask Luke Man, right? Luke Man. Which police do you think is more corrupt? Jamaican police or American police?
I'm FBA. I never left the country.
Oh, you FBA? Oh, okay. You just developed. My bad. I'm messing with you. But if you had to guess, right, Lukman? If you had to guess, do you think Jamaican cops are more corrupt than American cops, or vice versa?
My sister-in-law is Dominican. Out there, I guess, yeah, you gotta bribe them to really.
Hell yeah, in Jamaica, dog.
No, that's a misconception, bro.
Listen, Dex. Luke Man will tell you.
No, that's
Dominican. Let me say this, Dex. Luke Man will tell you from experience with his own family. Dominican cops are corrupt to the core. You know what I mean? Same thing in Jamaica. Hold on. Listen, no, Dex. You have this view in your. I'm going to finish in a second, Dex. You have a view, a thought in your head that if black people are governed by black cops, black people would commit no crime. And I'm like, I don't know where that thought came from. All you got to do is go look at these African countries, go look at Caribbean countries where the crime rate is incredibly
Are they
high.
colonized? Are they colonized or are they not colonized?
So it's the white man's fault.
Yes, for a lot of the wars, and
Oh
it don't matter
man,
if this is black
alive.
on black crime. White people are responsible for that shit. Yes, we have self accountability that's due at the end of the table, but at the end of the day, they putting us in oppression and oppressing us into these systems to where we don't have functionability to be sane and be okay and be. They putting us in the hoods and the ghettos and expect us to just be civil people. No, that's not how it works. Y'all got to give
So the
us.
Dominican cop has no choice but to bribe Luke Mann whenever he's in DR.
To get bribes or bribe?
No, to bribe the right. The cop has no choice but to get Luke Mann to pay him some money. Like it's white supremacy that's making
because
him
a lot
do
of them
that.
are poor. A lot of them are poor.
Okay.
A lot of them are in the same conditions as they citizens. That's the thing. Just like America is more corrupt. In fact, like you got gangs in the police out here. You don't just see. You don't see, hold on. You got a whole misconception that people outside of the country or how many times America kills more civilians than any other country by the hands of their own police, more than any other country.
You ain't lying.
Like, come on, man. This is not okay. They corrupt. Oh well, police corrupt in America too. You can bribe them with a kilo of cocaine and they'll let you go for the right price. This has been always a thing in America. Just because it's new technology and stuff now, it don't mean that that it's acceptable. But it has always been like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. So let me ask you, just to get back to the 85% of America. Does this mean do the people that own that land, are they going to be is the American government going to pay them for that land, or is the American government just going to take the land from them and give it to y'all, or are they going to get paid for it?
Well, it kind of depends because they could legally seize everything if they really want to. They own it all.
The government can legally seize people's land.
They have
because
done
it's the
it.
government that owns it.
They can justify their own laws. If it become legal tomorrow to do slavery was once legal. If they want to take it, they can take it. This is not yours. You only came in here with yourself. You only came in this earth by yourself with nobody else. That's what you're gonna leave with it. And everything else is just being used. We use everything that we have. It's not
right. So you're saying
our possession. It's not our
so
possession.
you're saying they don't have to get compensated for the land.
Let me give you a hypothetical. If I own a house right now, if I buy a house, fully paid off, no mortgage, no nothing, right? Or I pay mortgage or anything, right? They can still seize that. They can militaristically come in and be like, this is ours now. We have seen this done in history. They can do that to anybody.
The white man.
I mean, I get that. So let me ask you this. So you are saying that they're not going to compensate them for the land.
They don't have to. Hold on. If they don't own the land, then what's the use to the currency?
If who don't own the land?
If the American government don't own the land, then what's the use to the currency? If they give it all up, the currency hold no weight.
If they give up all the land, the currency has no weight.
Exactly.
So why would they give it up to you?
That's the thing. I just said that. I said they just can't give it up to us. That's why I said either our sovereignty or give us the land. They're not going to give us the land because they have military. They have system. They got the CIA, FBI, whatever kind of three-letter alphabet they got. The military, they got the Navy, the Army, the Marines. They have things to back up.
I just don't know what you mean by you don't want the land, you just want sovereignty. I don't know what sovereignty means without land.
Sovereignty means everything without land. Like if you sovereign, you don't possess nothing. You don't possess nothing. Everything. If I want to go eat an apple out of the
If you're
grocery store,
sovereign, you don't possess. If you're sovereign, you don't possess anything.
Hold on. Let me say this. You gave a hypothetical earlier. You said I can just go in the grocery store and get whatever I want, right? Let's say if I do that, am I wrong for doing that? Because y'all getting it free. They getting it free off of. They getting the American government getting all these products for free. For free. I'm talking about off of a tree. You can go get an apple off of the tree right now for free, and they charging us for it. They charging us for it. So how is that
But
even
it's
wrong?
American government that has the supermarkets. It's not American government that supplies supermarkets.
Hold on, it ain't the American
Supermarkets are
government. You
privately
said the
owned. These
American
are
government
privately
don't
owned
supply.
businesses.
Oh my
Huh?
God. You said they don't supply. Then
They don't supply the food
why
in
is all these
supermarkets.
farmers hold on? Why is all these farmers getting federal money from the federal government if they don't own none of it?
Why does the government give? The fact
Yes.
that the government gives farmers subsidies doesn't mean the government now owns the farm.
Yeah. Oh my God. They own some of it. That's what I'm telling you. The most of it they own. Look in Arkansas right now. Farmers are going broke right now because they don't get subsidies from the government no more. So how is you going broke if you don't need the subsidies? How is you going broke?
I didn't say they didn't need the subsidies.
Government
I didn't say they don't need subsidies. I said the fact that they get a subsidy from the government doesn't mean the government owns their land.
Okay, I'm asking you though. And look in Arkansas right now. Farmers are broke, like broke to the core. How is it that if they don't need the government money and it's all theirs, how are they going broke? How are they going broke? It's because the government
Business
actually
is
owns that.
bad.
Once they put the money into it, that means that that's theirs.
I don't know. I think they're going broke because business may be bad. I don't know. Is that
Oh
that's
yeah,
the only
like it's
thing that-
people going hungry off of Snap. It's people going hungry off of Snap right now. You talking about is this business going bad? Then give it all away. Then give it all away. You got it for free. If you planted it in the ground anyway.
You gotta keep buying them seeds.
A lot of them ain't buying it. A lot of them ain't buying them seeds. A lot of fruit go bad. They pick that shit right back up. Get all them seeds harvested just like how they got it. I know how the game works. A lot of it is free, bro. That shit. That's the
Not
thing about sovereignty.
not these new seeds. They only last one season. They're not growing again. You have to buy the seeds every year. That's why they going broke.
Um, I don't know, man. Beat active. Beat active. I saw you try to come in. I'm not sure what happened just now. Yeah, let's see if we can add you to the stage.
I don't know,
I'm
man.
not
I
sure.
guess
Hang on. Let me see what's going on with
Beat
trying to
Active.
get Beat active in here.
I guess I'm crazy, man, because I feel like I'm just making so much sense with even with the policing. Like,
You making sense. You making some sense.
cause you saying like every other police is corrupt, and they really not. They really not.
They just broke.
The American police is more corrupt than any police in the world.
Mm.
The system is more so.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's all these systems that's putting us in places of oppression. It's not the actual people. Sometimes it's more so the system, and who's participating in the system because it's 260 million European white Americans, right? They're the majority, quote unquote. So how would they not be participating? How would they not be the creators of the systems?
Hang on a second. Beat active. I see you back there. I'm trying to let you in, but it's not. It says your device is not found. I'm not able to move you to the stage. For whatever reason, I can't add you to the stage. Beat active. It looks like you're on your phone, and I'm not sure why it's not allowing me to add you. Go ahead, Dex. I'm sorry.
No, I was just touching on the last conversation about the police. Like, it may seem like it's corrupt because it just may seem like that way, but they really not corrupt as we think they are.
Hang on. Be active. It says you got to connect your mic and camera before we can add you. It says your mic and camera is not connected. You don't have to turn your camera on, but you have to connect them. And that's why it's saying I'm not able to add you. So if you can figure out how to sort out your mic and camera, we can get you added. Go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I really had to say about that one. But it's not hard. It's we making it seem hard because we want to appease the white people that live in America. But if we just don't appease them and just do the things that we need to get done, then it'll be all right. Like, but we want to appease to the 260 million people in America because there's quote unquote the majority, and I don't even believe they're the majority of America. I just think they inflating their numbers on us.
Well, okay.
I don't believe that black people are 13% in America. I don't believe that.
What percent you think they are?
I think it's more like 30%.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's more than what they saying. They just try to do that to use us as a minority group.
But I'm saying, but if our number, so what happens when we vote? Like, if our numbers were bigger, wouldn't we? Are you saying they're hiding our votes?
Yeah, I think they doing all that. I think they doing everything they can to suppress us and to not coming out of the oppression. That's what I think that's going on. Because you got to think about it. Look at all these immigrants that come over and live in America. They don't consider them to be black people. Like how is they not black people? Why y'all don't want them to be a part of us? Because that they'll do better. They'll help us do better, or they'll be better. It'll just better our community. That's what they are scared of. That's why they don't consider immigrants to be a part of the African American community, even though we all African people at the end of the day.
Right.
So it's just not making sense to say we're 13% and then separate the migrants and the what I mean, the immigrants or whatever. Like, it just don't make sense.
Be active, saying like we we shouldn't even get land if you're not indigenous.
He said what?
We shouldn't even get land if we're not indigenous.
But we were forced over here. That's a difference. Like, we didn't ask to be over here. We were taken from a whole different group of people that actually took the land from y'all. So technically, it's not. Hold on. If we talking law instead of sovereignty, right? And it's because we dealing under law right now, according to the American land. 9/10 of possession is law. 9/10 of possession is law. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like, if you possess something, then so say like, look, I'm gonna give you a hypothetical. If I go in the restaurant right now, right, and drop $100, right, and then I walk out of the restaurant and I realize, like, damn, I might have dropped it. I go back in and somebody else already picked it up, right, and they be like, oh, they don't even say that they found the 100. I just see it in their hand. Technically, it's no way for me to legally prove that I dropped it unless like a camera or something, like, but let's say like we live in a time where no cameras. How would I be able to prove that that's my money if a camera didn't catch it, or if like, something like that? It's not in my possession, so I can't necessarily prove that it's mine.
So you're saying indigenous can't prove that's their land either?
They can't prove it because they don't own all of it. If they own more of America, then we could be like, okay, then they got rights to the 15% that's due to them. but they don't own the majority of America. They own little spots in America like Montana and like stuff like that. So now it's hard for them to get the large percentage of it back.
I think that history is a lot more cataloged and written than ours. It's more recent as well. But
Hold on. Which one are you referring to? To African history or to?
I believe that indigenous native history is more. It's you can. It's
Give
more
me a
recent.
second, gentlemen. I'm gonna mute out for a minute. Just talk amongst yourselves for a sec.
Right. Yeah. So native histories, you can look back and see, there's a chief here and who he was and his lineage. Our history is a lot more murkier, but
No. But I'm saying, like, are you referring to like African American history or African history just in general?
African American history.
No, because that's not true. That's not true.
They do got slave archives. And,
Yeah, like that's well more documented than any indigenous tribe. That's way more well documented. They didn't even use pieces of paper and stuff like that back then. They didn't use papyrus or nothing like that. Africans used papyrus, so we got more recorded history in Africa than the native tribes here did. Because papyrus is an actual plant, that we made. You never heard of papyrus?
I'm just saying, at the same time, we was all here at the same time doing, so it's all recorded. If
But like,
if
what
white
period?
if white folks want to act delusional or like senile, that's different. But it's all recorded,
No, but I'm saying, what time of period of history are you talking about? That's
I'm
recorded
speaking
more.
on as soon as we landed, as soon as Krista 1682, whatever the fuck. Yeah. As soon as it's all written down.
So you saying more of the African American history is written down?
I say it's all here. They playing senile, bro. They know who and what's what and what goes where. It's just once your act.
I could agree partially to what you're saying. Like, I believe they are. I think they acting dumb. Like as far as like knowing certain records and stuff, and then that's why they destroy certain ones. I get that. But like when you say our history is more recorded, and I say, are you talking about African history before the slave trade, or are you talking about after the slave trade? Because we had more records. We have more records in Africa than we have in recent history as far as slavery had ended.
Again, I'd probably say the natives have more recorders.
Nah, that's not true at all. You gotta go look that up. We got more. Do you not know like they got records still in Africa about the slaves that they had shipped off here. Like they got records here too. They got records there too.
Yeah, all that. All that. But I'm talking about versus North America, like North America. When that's when it matters.
It's like never know one answer to a certain question, because like you can do multiple things to try and solve to try to solve the problem, like to give it a solution. Like when he say like, what do reparations look like and like how should it be paid out, it's not no one answer to it. Like I could sit here and say we need 85% of the country, but that's not necessarily gonna work. You feel me? And then I could sit here and say we need $10 million, $15 million, and that's not necessarily gonna work. You know what I mean? So That's why we throw out these things so that we can get an understanding on, like, look, we may need more than what we really asking for. We may need more than 85% of the country. We may need more than 15 million. You know what I mean? That's why I said sovereignty over everything, because if we sovereign, then who cares what they gonna give us?
But his argument is there's no amount enough to reconcile or satisfy, or
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. They giving out.
that's where he coming from.
They giving out. If we talking currency, they giving out billions and billions of dollars each year. They losing out on billions and billions of dollars each year. So like, let's be real. Like, they can pay that shit if we talking currency. Now, if we talking land, then that might be a little different. Might be a little tricky. You know what I mean? It might be some studying need to be done in that. But if we talking like sovereignty, that's simple. That's something they can give us now.
That's a hell of a workhorse to lose. Still,
Yeah, like, why? He's assuming that if we do get our sovereignty, that we're going to be more dangerous.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, I think the opposite. I think we'll be more peaceful. You know what I mean?
Goddamn Earth, Wind, and Fire playing cookouts.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like give up everything. Like, we ain't gotta. If we got our sovereignty, we don't gotta run in no store and steal no fruit. We ain't gotta run in nobody house and do whatever we want.
Oh,
No, that makes sense.
We probably have a socialist slash, society where we all contribute, we all pay in.
Yeah, that's why I said if he talking per person, let's say if they give us 10 acres apiece, right? Like, that's not personally my land. That's just a portion that they giving per person. So it's not entitled to just me. It's just how much that we gonna chunk off of America. You feel me? Like, okay.
Hey Dex, tell me again what you mean by sovereignty.
Like, hold on, I got this. You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
So when I mean sovereignty, it's an echo. I don't know whose mic that is. But when I say sovereignty, it could get a little tricky, because like, I'm talking about it in the colloquial term. Like, sovereignty meaning like we just don't want to be policed by the American government. We just want the American government to leave us alone. Like, just basically leave us alone, because they have done nothing.
You don't want to pay taxes. You don't want to pay taxes anymore.
Yeah, we don't want to do we don't want to involve ourselves in the American system no more, because it's not benefiting us. It's not beneficial to the African American community.
Okay.
I slightly disagree.
So your kids won't go to any more American schools. You're going to take your kids out of their schools.
Yep.
You said yeah.
Yeah. Why would they need to be in an American school? They ain't teaching them shit.
So you're going to school them yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do it already without the American government. You can school your kid in the house. You don't need to have them go to school no more. A lot of them did it in the pandemic. That's simple.
Right. And you're not going to use their post office anymore.
Yep, we don't need none of that. We don't need none of that.
Okay. And this is without owning any land. Like, you're still gonna live. You're personally still gonna live in. I think you're in is it California? You're at.
Yeah.
Right. So you're still gonna stay living in the same house you're living in California, right? You're just not gonna be
having to pay your mortgage or rent anymore, or anything, but you're just gonna you're gonna continue living exactly where you are. Like if you're renting, your landlord is just gonna be out of your rent.
Oh no,
And
hold on. You taking it too far. What I'm saying, I just said that.
I'm just trying to figure out how it's gonna work. I'm just trying to see
I
if
know.
it's really something that's practical, that
No,
can work. And I just want to see what's in your mind in terms of how it's gonna work.
yeah, because if sovereignty is crazy because like if we become sovereign right now, that would be kind of tricky because we living in a time where you kind of do need the currency because we always had our own systems of bartering and things like that. But the currency in today's social construct, as far as in a society, is the American dollar. So if we do have our sovereignty, we would have to use the American dollar, which is binding us in a contract with the American government. So it's like it's kind of tricky. So if we all as a whole people just said we need our sovereignty, we could create our own currency. We create our own currency. We don't need the American dollar to do anything. And then it'll take a tank on the American economy because they need the 13%, quote unquote, of people to participate in the American commerce game in order for it to sustain a certain
So do
amount
you
of.
want sovereignty or not?
I just said yes, but I'm explaining to you exactly how it would work in today's society. I'm saying they need us to participate in the commerce game. If all black people withdraw right now from America and go to Africa, America wouldn't be the America that they know it today. Like it would totally tank America. Like
Okay.
the
I
dollar, the
mean,
dollar would the dollar would decrease immediately.
I understand all of that.
So if we
I'm just still.
that's all I'm saying. If we sovereign, it wouldn't make a difference about no money. We wouldn't even need money to pay rent.
Can you hear me, America Dream?
Yes. Who's
Oh,
this?
that's
Lead
what's.
actor.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Hey,
I'm here
blessings
just
to
letting
you.
you know.
What
Yes,
is
sir.
Let-
Yeah, I'm
active?
absolutely aware that you're here. Yeah, and I'll give you the floor, beat active. Was there something you in particular you wanted to state or a question you wanted to ask?
Now, right now, I'm just listening to you. I mean, at first, when I was first trying to get it in the conversation, the phone didn't let me. I had something in my mind, but right now, I was frustrated because I couldn't really sign in for some reason. Well, I figured out. So right now, I'm just listening.
Yes, sir. So yeah, Dex. Being sovereign again, Dex. I'm just really trying to figure out exactly what you mean by that, and what it's gonna look like, because it seems as if when you thought about the idea of money, because and you kind of realize that y'all would still be using American money. Like I don't know if you kind of backed off of it, or you just realized some type of a challenge that you're going to be faced with.
No, no, no. Like what I'm saying is, it'd be if we just all back out and have our sovereignty, it'd be limited time for the American dollar to tank. So like we would use it for a certain period of time until it's not useful to us no more. Then therefore we could create our own currency or our own way of commerce. You know, people didn't always use the currency as a form of payment. You know what I mean? That's just something new. People used to barter. People used to trade. Things like that.
Right. So you're going to have your own schools, your own stores. Because if you have your own money, that means you're going to have your own stores that you're going to shop in.
It's possible. It's
And only
possible to have. It's possible to have your own schools and stores and stuff like that. But it's also a thing if you don't have to have that. People that live
you're going to
inside.
go to so you're going to go to a regular corner store, and instead of giving them an American dollar, you're going to give them your currency, and they're going to accept it. They're going to, you're going to have an arrangement with the government where your currency is going to be valued the same way their currency is valued, and
stores will just accept your currency even though it's different, and then it'll just be exchangeable like that? Is that the type of situation you're looking at?
Come on, American Dream. You know that ain't even a logical thing to say. Like we in today's society, if you have a Chinese dollar, they got exchanges that you can go to, booths that you can go to and exchange the money for American money. That's not even like what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
But that's because China is an independent country. It's a totally different country.
I get it.
But you're saying y'all are not going to be a different country, but you're going to have.
But yeah, but you know what currency actually do represent, right? Currency actually represent what you produce. So that means that your group of people, let's say FBA, need to produce what our FBA will be able to produce to create currency. Because currency is not about creating paper.
No,
It's
we
not.
talking about sovereignty though. We talking about if all
Part of sovereignty is to be able to produce and be able
what
to produce to create your own money.
what do you mean to produce? If we all sovereign people, we don't need to. Do you not know that on the American dollar bill that it clearly says that it's a debt. It's a debt. It's a
You
debt.
need to produce your own doctor. You need to produce your own farm. You need
No,
to produce
listen,
your own food. You need to produce your own product. You need to
dude,
produce your own building. You need to produce your
dude,
own school.
listen,
You need to produce everything that
okay,
basically represent a country.
can you listen? If all black people pull out of the American government right now, how much do you think that we're gonna produce? Do you think that we're not gonna produce? What I'm
Did Beat
saying
Actor
is,
fall out? I think he fell out.
yeah, because
But his question was, what are you going to produce?
it doesn't that's not even the question that you asked me though. You didn't ask me that question. I was answering your question according to which your I was answering your question according to your question. He bought the production up. We can
Right,
talk
right,
about
right.
it.
That was his question.
Yeah, we could talk about what we need to produce and all that. But that's just a whole different conversation. He's
Well,
talking
first
about,
of all,
hold on,
you
wait.
say you want to be sovereign. That means that you already need to have your own product ready. You need to have your own everything ready, and that means you can have American money, basically,
Hold on.
depending in American money.
Hold on. You saying sovereign people need to have something in order to be sovereign?
They need to have everything, basically on tech, basically
You know what? Hold on.
jobs, food, everything.
Do you know what sovereignty means?
Sovereignty means depend on yourself.
Exactly. What are you talking about?
Exactly. That means if you want your own land where you could depend on your own self because you
Oh, man, we're not talking about none of that right now. We're talking about complete sovereignty. He's asking me if we were sovereign people, how would we play in the game of commerce? That's what he's asking me.
well you cannot be sovereign in somebody else's country. You need to have your own land to be able to be have sovereignty.
That's not true. That's not
Yes, it
true.
is.
I
Dude,
thought
Come on.
that was true.
that's not true.
That's the only sovereign that I understand, bro.
That's
Like,
the only sovereignty there is. There is. You need
So
to
in order to be sovereign, you have to have your own land. Is what you're saying.
exactly. Without that, you ain't sovereign. You got to go by the rule of the landowner.
like
So hold on. Let me ask you a question.
hang on,
If
Dex.
that's
Like,
true,
just
hold on.
real
Hold
quick,
on. If that's true,
Dex, real quick.
let me ask him. If
I
that's
know, I
true,
know.
why is it a thing called a sovereign citizen? Why is there such thing as a sovereign citizen? If that's true,
Like the native, they're sovereign, but they still depend on federal financial to finance the sovereignty.
no
That's
sovereign
not a hundred
no,
percent sovereignty.
no sovereign citizen. I'm agreeing with you. No sovereign citizen has to play any game of commerce with the federal government. That's not true. In fact, they hate the federal government. The thing is, it's no such thing as a sovereign citizen because you can't be sovereign and a citizen at the same time.
What?
You cannot be sovereign and a citizen at the same time. It does not work like that.
You're a citizen to your sovereignty. Basically, you got your own land. That means you're a citizen to that sovereignty right there. That sovereignty is your own land, having your own, going by your own rule, going by your own.
Be active. You need to go do your. You need to go search up what a citizen actually means.
Yeah.
I know why you. Well, I know where you're going to. I know where you're going to. But at the end of the day, you still send shit to your
No, go
sovereignty.
look at what citizen means. If you need your own
I'm gonna
land to
speak on
be
this real
sovereign,
quick.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, let me hold you down real quick. This is what's going on in Gaza right now. Israel is supposedly sovereign through America's will in another country that's supposedly not sovereign, Palestine, to a people that's supposedly not sovereign in their own country. They're fighting for the right to be able to move amongst this land, Israeli sovereign land, supposedly, and Palestinian sovereign land, supposedly. So this whole conundrum, yeah, it's complicated, yeah, but the solution is peace.
I agree.
I agree.
That's what I'm telling him. Like you don't need land to be sovereign. You don't need land to be
No,
sovereign.
you need land to be sovereignty.
No, you do not. Sovereignty has
Just
nothing to do
explained
with
it.
physicalities. Sovereignty has nothing to do with physicalities. Sovereignty is it comes with you as a human being. It comes with you as a God living person. It's divine.
Basically, you basically try and describe sovereignty as freedom, obviously. But you,
No, because freedom has always been an illusion. We're not free in America. They claim that you are free, but you're not free. If you're free, we wouldn't have to use passports. We're not free. Okay, you wouldn't get pulled over by the police if you were a free
but
American.
that's what sovereignty is: being
That's
free
not
from any other of ruling your people. That's what
exactly.
sovereignty.
So let
So,
me ask you: would you rather have freedom or sovereignty? Because obviously, you would want to be free instead of being sovereign.
I mean, part of sovereignty is freedom, especially in your land. Now, that
No,
doesn't mean you gotta have the freedom to go anywhere in the world. You go
freedom,
have all the freedom in your land.
freedom is not the same thing as sovereignty, dude. That's why they're
So you're
two
just
different
talking
words.
about so Dex, you're just talking about being a sovereign citizen.
No, yeah, I was talking about that
Is
in
that the
reference.
sovereignty you're talking about?
No, that's not the sovereignty I was talking about. What I was saying to him was, you can't be both. You can't be sovereign. You can't have a sovereign citizen.
Yes, you can.
It's
Yes,
an
you can.
oxymoron. It's an oxymoron, dude.
Sovereignty is basically you're independent.
Dude,
Why
listen,
United States was born in
dude,
1976 of that they wanted sovereignty, they wanted
be
independent.
active.
And
Be
each
active.
country
Be
fight
active.
for
Instead of yelling,
sovereignty.
could you just listen? Instead of yelling, could you just listen? It is
Oh my
literally
bad, I
an
didn't even notice I was yelling. My
listen,
bad.
listen. It's literally an oxymoron. That means two words put together that don't belong together. You cannot be a sovereign person and a citizen at the same time. Now, that's why I told you, go look up the definition of the word citizen. You would clearly see that those two words together don't even belong.
All
You
right.
can't.
Then describe or define sovereignty.
I already described it, but I mean, like that's what we're talking about at hand.
Yeah, but when you started describing sovereignty, Dex, it sounded like you were describing a sovereign citizen because you're
Yeah,
No,
saying
exactly.
a
yeah,
sovereign
you were
citizen
just
is
talking
a
about
person that plays in a game of commerce but claims to be sovereign from the government. That makes no sense. If I'm sovereign from the government, why participate in a commerce? Why use the American dollar? Why use the American dollar if I'm sovereign?
So that sovereignty also include not being able to receive no government assistance or monetary assistance or
We don't
anything they gotta do,
if we a
anything
sovereign
they gotta do with government money.
Yeah, we don't need that because we're sovereign people. We don't need that. We're dependent on one another. One another.
So you basically resigning your citizenship, your USA.
Exactly. We're not even original citizens of America.
Then you doomed. You gonna be doomed.
Dude, African Americans are not original citizens of America. We were forcefully brought over here.
If you resign your citizenship, that means you resign the Constitution, your constitutional rights, and if you resign your constitutional right, that means you ain't no more American citizen.
Hold on. You talking to a professional person that knows everything about sovereign citizens. So you just don't even want to challenge me on that, dude. Because I clearly told you go look up the word citizen and look up the word
No,
sovereignty.
I'm going by what you are saying because you want to be sovereign inside a country where it got its own government. So
Did
you
you not
want
hear?
to.
Did you not hear the part where I said if all black people stopped playing in the game of commerce in America, it would fail?
How is that?
Just go look it up. Go look up if all black people move to Africa or become sovereign and don't play in the game of commerce, how well they would do by themselves and how much it would tank the economy. They
Or
literally hold on.
what
Black
make you
people, hold
think
on.
that? What make you think that?
Because we are we consume the most. What do you mean? We consume the most? We spend the most? What are you talking about? We talking about economy here.
Oh
No
man,
other group,
today generation is doomed for real.
no other group outspends us per capita. We buy the most Mercedes
So
Benz.
you're saying that let's you all FBA move to Africa, whatever country you say or want to, right? United States won't survive.
The United States wouldn't survive at all.
Won't? Oh.
Dude, do you not? The United States of America is only 400 years old. Do you know that? Do you know African pre-colonialism? Africans have been playing in a game of commerce for thousands of years. And
America is actually going to be 250 next year.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? So it's less than that then. So see, that's what I'm saying. It's not even. It's China is older than that.
I mean the system United States that young, but the land is not that young. I mean, this
No,
was
but
people already in the land
we talking about citizenship, and now you keep moving the goalposts because I'm
no,
proving.
I mean, citizenship. You didn't have citizenship until what? 1865, and you still fighting for all your full rights.
But are you listening to what I just said? Please go look up the word citizen so you can get a better understanding of what the words you're using. Because you can't be a sovereign citizen; it's just not a thing. That is a total oxymoron. That is a myth.
All right,
Yeah,
it's just
you got me so confused right now, Dex, because you're saying being a sovereign citizen is an oxymoron, but then when you explain what you want for black people, it sounds as only thing it sounds like you're saying is you want them to be sovereign citizens.
That's not what I'm saying. A sovereign. I don't want them to be. I don't want us to be sovereign citizens. I want us to be completely sovereign. We don't
So
need.
you want to have your
you
own
are
country.
technically sovereign, or you got the right to do whatever you want with your life. I mean, you
No,
could
you
move
don't.
to
No, you
wherever
don't.
you want to move. I mean, you ain't
Dude.
trapped. You ain't
If
trapped.
you hold on, if you live in America like I do right now, you use the American dollar, which binds you by citizenship right there by using the American dollar. If you own a birth certificate, you're a citizen of America, which is a contract saying that
But
you're
that's your decision. That's your decision
no,
to be part of the system. But you sovereign, you got the
listen,
sovereignty to basically
listen,
control your own life and make your own decision. That means you're free.
listen. Do we own any of the land?
Well,
I
uh,
do. It's not 100 acres, but I own a little something. I own a little.
well,
Dex,
Do
can
we
you
have a
move?
military? Hold on. Do we have a military to back up if we want some land? Like if we want some land, we want to take it. Do we have a military?
what
What you
will
mean? Take land from who?
No, I'm
from
saying
who is it?
if we were completely sovereign and we wanted to take American land, do we have a military to back it up? No, we don't.
Hell fucking no.
Exactly. So we're what I'm saying is that's all we asking for, and we all have been asking for it. Our ancestors have always been
But
asking for this.
but we got the power. You know why? Because
We
if
don't got the
everybody
power.
was united, America, United States is about democracy. And democracy is about majority rules, and control the system. And we united the non-white and even whites. If we all unite, we would have the control. That's why the hate, the racial war is going on to maintain us separate. Because separate, that's how they could conquer everybody. Because if nobody's united and everybody's separate, that could be conquered.
No.
That's the
The only reason why they can conquer us today is because of and they have ever conquered us is because the military industrial complex. If America didn't have no military industrial complex, they would be.
Exactly, and we could have that control. We could have that military control. We could basically unite as everybody unite to have basically control of our everybody to basically to
Hold
of our rights.
Let me explain myself, dude. Now, American Dream had asked me a question like, well, what would that look like exactly? Like, if all black people just stop playing in the game of commerce. Hold on. First of all, we have how many black people in the military? You know what I mean? We got how many black people in you know, the Navy, the Army, stuff like that.
But who control them? Who control them?
Hold on, dude. That would totally affect the military, as we know in history as well. If the Tuskegee Airmen wasn't a part of the military, if certain factions of the Hell Demons and all of these people that was in the military didn't have no military status, the Americans would have lost the wars if it wasn't for the African American soldiers. Like these are things that they don't teach us.
You know how you could have power of the military having control in the House of Representatives, having control in the House of Congress.
That's not what we need to do. We do not need to play their games. We don't need to play their games. If we stop playing their
That's
games,
why we lost. That's why we gotta lose.
no,
That's
that's
why we
not
got.
why we're losing. If we just they prey on our consumption. They don't
We
even support.
united. We already the majority. United. We already the majority. That's why they worried about deporting immigrants because we already are the majority. They're not telling you that, but we are.
Active. I just agreed to that. But what I'm telling you is this: they don't even secretly white people don't even support other white people. They prey on black people to consume from them. This is what I'm saying. If we all pull out of the game of commerce, it would totally tank the American economy, which therefore would tank the American dollar, which is very valueless because it holds no value. It's just a tender debt note for a citizen as a payback. So the American dollar is not backed by any mineral, no gold, nor anything, which is completely just paper. It would mean it would like totally like bankrupt America, like if we just pull out.
Yeah, because we started depending on China, depending on everybody else except ourselves. We stopped basically producing. We stopped producing.
Black people set trends. Like if we wanted to, if we, Beats by Dre and stuff, we all start wearing Beats by Dre. You seen every other race wearing it. If we wanted to do that with the Chinese dollar and be like, look, we don't even want to use American money no more as black people. We want to use the Chinese dollar to use as commerce amongst one another. I'm just taking that as a hypothetical, by the way. But I'm saying, like, if we wanted to do that in America and be like, look, I'm gonna trade you these shoes for this for this Chinese money, then that would even bankrupt America right there because we're not using their currency. The 13%, which is actually more, quote unquote, 13%. That's playing in the commerce game, if we just tank out of there, they would lose so much money, it would just bankrupt America, literally.
Yeah, listen, I'm going on the 3-hour mark, so I'm gonna get ready to shut this down in a minute. Why don't you guys say the last things y'all want to say before I shut this down?
Yes.
No, I just want to say when it comes to me, I just want to say that I appreciate it for letting me being here in the panel, American Dream, and you know, being part of the group.
Yes,
And
sir.
my
Absolutely.
bad for my bad English, because my English is bad.
Your English is good, man. Your English is your English is a beautiful thing. But you know what I mean? Always a pleasure having you. Your opinion is definitely appreciated. Is Lukman still here? Lukman, you there?
Yo, still here, yes.
Yes, sir. Let's have your final thoughts.
Hey, man, I appreciate the whole panel. Appreciate your thoughts and contemplating on the matter and giving good feedback and dialogue and understanding trying to come to understand the whole situation. That's a great thing even
That's what it's about.
Hey,
about
what's your name again? What's his name?
Lukman.
Luke, man. Oh yeah, that was a good analogy that you brought to the table with the Gaza, because that's exactly what's going on, dude.
Right? Yes. Thank you. Welcome. But yeah, I ain't got much to say. Yeah, I like what you said about the sovereignty. It coincides with what I was saying about uh, Native American federal recognition as federally recognized as a tribe nation of its own. Um, so yeah, and the back to the whole question: is there ever enough? Could there be? Yes, there is enough. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Indeed. Thanks for coming in, Lukman. I may hit the button again tomorrow at some point, depending on how I feel. But you guys are always more than welcome. Dex, what's your final thoughts?
Um, shoot, it was a good talk or whatever. I encourage everybody to keep coming up on the panel and discussing these things, because that's where it starts first. You know, just having the discussions about it, and and then hopefully we come up with things to that we could agree on to put in action. So yeah, it's always a pleasure coming up here and sharing my thoughts or whatever, and hearing other people's opinions, and also hearing the questions that you formulate in such fashion to challenge my critical thinking. That's always been a good thing, and you know that's pretty much it. But I really like the conversation that was at hand about like how reparations should be. But like I told Luke, man, or whatever, I told him like it's no one answer to it. So we just gotta all come up with certain ideas. I may feel another way tomorrow and come up with something. It's always good to throw something out there, so that way we could all have a common strategy on how to do things as far as taking it into action.
Indeed. Yeah, man. But like I said, I may hit the button again tomorrow. So we can definitely continue the conversation. But it's going on 3 hours. I'm feeling a little tired right now. So I'm gonna take my leave. Y'all be blessed, man.
Yeah, you too.
Y'all be blessed.
You
Indeed.
too, man.
We'll talk again soon.
Yeah,
Peace, y'all.
praying for your homeland, man.
Oh man, blessings to you. The homeland needs all the prayers it can get.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, what I mean, some places there are some parts where they didn't really get hit at all, or it was minimal. But then there are other places where they're just devastated, bro. It's very depressing to even be there.
One
Um,
one thing
you
that
know,
Jamaican has always proved that Jamaicans are a strong culture. Jamaican will always keep being strong and always going to keep going forward. That's a fact.
indeed, absolutely, absolutely. We're little, but with Talawa, for real,
Yeah.
for real.
And
Um,
Jamaica,
but yeah,
well,
man, thanks for keeping us in your prayers, bro.
bless,
yeah, for
bless.
sure.
Indeed. But y'all be blessed, y'all. See y'all tomorrow.
All right.
Same.
Later.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Tell the youth them to be strong. You can't tell the youth them to preach wrongs. While you try it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah. Each one teach one, and a Father God, him a the only done. So make we ease and reason. Smoke trees, span the ends, all the deep meds. Take a look at life, and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen, and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them more than little of them. We see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me if you see how the face. Deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary. Drop that one, your principle, you don't know. The global will come and do it. Some people life every day, it's stress. The high price from JPS, that topic is currently. Jah alone, him a go help me. We need food that we know healthy. We are feel the pain, beg you protect me. In our life we have no envy. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government no have no heart, them no care about poor people.
Without a home. We don't have a home. We're just black without a home amongst many citizens.